Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. وأفضل الصلاة وأتم التسليم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. ورضي الله تعالى عن سادة التابعين وعلماء العمل وأئمة الأربعة المجتهدين ومقلدين من يوم الدين أما بعد. So the Sheikh said he was the most scrupulous of people, and he was the most indifferent as nas. He was a zahid. I think this is extremely important thing that he said, that he was a zahid, which means he didn't care about the dunya. And I think a lot of us have a misunderstanding about what that actually means. I think a lot of us, especially, some of us that may have learned a long time ago, I don't actually know where it comes from, but a lot of us actually thought that there was piety in poverty. We thought that there was piety in poverty. And when someone is said to be a zahid, that does not mean that he or she was poor. The person could be poor, they may not be poor. But a person being zahid or practicing zuhud really doesn't have anything to do with how much wealth they have or how much property they have. A zahid is someone who may or may not have wealth in his hand or may have access or possession of wealth, but he doesn't have wealth in his heart. Someone can be poor, broke, dead broke, and not be a zahid. How is it the case? Because every waking moment he's thinking about money, how to steal your money, how to, work this job or to work that job or to work 10 jobs. And we should be very careful, because a lot of times we brag that we're quote unquote on our grind. And there's nothing wrong with working hard. But a lot of times we think by, being on our quote unquote grind and, mind on my money on my mind, that's not the right mindset to have, even if you are on your grind. The point being that the wealth should not be in your heart. You ever notice that a lot of people that have money, whether they be technically rich or wealthy or well off or whatever category you put them in, if that person lose $5, a lot of them, you can't sleep till I had $15 in my wallet. Now I only have 10. Meanwhile, this dude got millions of dollars in the bank, right? But that $5 though, I don't remember spending it. I didn't lend it to nobody. He can't sleep. So you figure out, and it's going to bother him, that $5. Or if he went to the store to buy something, and after he purchased it, he found out that he could have got the thing a little bit cheaper. That's going to bother him. He ain't going to be able to go to sleep. I'm talking about the rich person, right? And this is a person with money in their, with dunya in their heart. A lot of times when the economy goes bad, and for example, the stock market crashes, something like that, people commit suicide. A lot of us, we be like, what's your problem? You still worth a few $1 million. I don't know how I'm going to get food on my table 2 days from now. You jumping, you committing suicide. I would have killed myself 20 years ago if I thought like you. Dunya's in their heart. Likewise, it could be a person that has more money than him. They'll lose $1 million. And they'll be like, well, I tried, and just the business deal didn't work out. They go to sleep comfortably. It's like in this example, you see that the one that had more money, the rich person that had more money than the first rich person I mentioned, he can lose more money. And he does all the, you know, I'm not saying that he throws away money, but, you know, however he lost his money, he tried his best to earn it or get it back or whatever, or not to take a loss on that deal, but it didn't work out. You're not going to lose sleep. But the other dude, he'll lose $5 or just can't remember how he spent $5. He's calling the accountant and everything. He's calling a forensic accountant to figure out where that $5 went. You know. And likewise, if you go to the other spectrum, the poor person, both of them was poor. Both of them just got fired, right? Both of them may be filling out their applications or whatever and trying to figure out what, you know, how they're going to put food on the table. But the other one, he's like, I don't know, man. I ain't hustling about 10 years, man, but I do whatever I got to do to feed my family, you know. That's the type of terminology we use a lot of times. We use that excuse because we have the love of the dunya in our heart. And so the point that I'm trying to make is that when someone is a zahid, and you know, like a lot of people, they call people like us Sufi. And they don't even know what the terminology Sufi means, most of them. That when they say you're Sufi, what they mean is they use it in a way that, like, we made fun of people, like in elementary school. You fatso, or your teeth is funny, with your black behind, right? The one that's calling you fat is fatter than you. The one who's messing with your teeth, his teeth is more messed up than yours. The one that's calling you black, he's blacker than you, right? But we just use these names in school when we were little to try to put someone down. A lot of these so-called Muslims, they Islamicized it. And one of the slurs they use against another Muslim to put them down nowadays is to call someone a Sufi. And every time I hear that, I always say, what's a Sufi? It's a deviant. What's a deviant? Sufi. Right? They can't tell you what a Sufi is, right? But in their mind, if you can get them out of that loop, deviant, Sufi, deviant, if you get them out of that loop, you know the people that be innovating in the deen, innovating how? You know, they worship graves and, you know, they be dancing and stuff, you know, spinning and stuff, right? Right. So in their mind, that's a Sufi. By the way, we don't worship people in the graves and we don't do no dancing. Ain't nobody here whirling dervish, but in their mind, you ain't part of them, you still Sufi, right? The reason why I mention all that, because the first so-called Sufis, the first so-called people who paid more attention to the affairs of the inner, the affairs of the heart, they were called Zuhad, the people who practice Zuhud, what we're talking about now. Who the Prophet, Sheikh Abdullahi is saying that the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was Ashad al-Nas. He was the most indifferent of people. In other words, he was indifferent to the world. Go ahead.
I'm trying to get the picture or get a good idea to make sure I'm on the same page or even in the same book. And I'm trying to refer to maybe the Sahaba, things like that.
Excellent.
But like for example, not have too much emphasis on worldly things. Be clean, but you may even mend your own clothes, may have a patch here or there. You still clean, but don't be flossing, so to speak. I mean, you ain't really concerned about having all these outfits or something like that. As long as I stay clean, presentable.
I wouldn't even say that. I wouldn't even say that because you have many people who are zuhad, people who are indifferent to the world, and they had nice clothes. See, it's not what you physically have; it's what's in your heart. That's the key. People think they get caught up on how much the person has or how quality or how expensive, you know, the person's property is. And if Allah gave you wealth,
yeah.
that's part of your gratitude to manifest, you know, what Allah gave you. But at the same time, you know, you have to find a balance because, you know, you don't want to do it with, you don't want to do it. Let's say for argument's sake, the person, he has money, he has the means. He likes or she likes nice things. They're not showing off, right? There's nothing wrong with them buying the nicest car or wearing the nicest or the newest clothes. The person should also have a consciousness of inspiring jealousy in other people. But you don't want to even get too far with that, because then you'll start driving or wearing or spending based upon who sees you and who doesn't see you, which is also a problem. See, this is a trick of the shaitan. Like, sometimes we may want to do a good deed, right? Let's say in my pocket, right? For whatever reason, I got a knot of money. And in my mind, for whatever, I'm going to peel off a $20 bill out of this knot of money I got in my pocket. For whatever reason, I'm walking around with this big amount of cash, right? This is a small masjid, right? So my intention is to give this $20 and put it in the sadaqah box without none of y'all seeing it, right? But I can't get out of eyesight of none of y'all. So, right, I'm trying to find a way to put this money in there. And then I hear a thought that comes to my mind, be like, now don't give no money now because you don't want to be seen of men. That's the opposite side of that same coin. First, you was worrying about doing something to be seen by people, riyah. Now you're not doing something so you won't be seen. They both the same thing. Your shaitan tricked you into thinking that one was different from the other. No, put the $20 in the safe. If you can't do it without nobody, you know, on the low, just put it in there. And just make sure that you keep renewing your intention every step of the way. You're not doing it to show off. You ain't like, you ain't doing that. You just, you know, I'm like, put and keep walking. You know what your intentions were. You didn't say when the masjid was empty, you was the first one here. I ain't giving no money. Oh man, the brother's here. Yeah, let me get this money. That's not your situation. You know, you already had in your mind that you was gonna give up the money. But, you know, you try to do it secretly, but if not, you know, alhamdulillah, you do it, right? Somebody may see you giving sadaqah and be like, oh, I got some money too, let me give some sadaqah. See, but shaitan, he'll work with us like that and prevent us from doing good deeds under the pretense that if we do it and people see it, then we doing it to show off, you know. But the point being, it doesn't. The issue here is not what the person has, how much they have, or how nice it is that they have, or how hard they work to get it. The thing is that person's heart is not attached to it. If he loses it all today, he's not going to go commit suicide or go into a depression or something like that. Or if he gains it, same thing. And I thought you were going to mention this, but the Sahaba were like that. Because we all know about Abdurrahman ibn Auf. You know, the Sahaba who Sa'd ibn Rabi'ah, the Ansar, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam paired them up. They were brothers. And he said to Sa'd, he said, because you know Sa'd is a muhajir. He left all of his wealth in Mecca. He was dead broke when he arrived in Medina. And he said, you know, I have 2 wives and I have 2 orchards. You know, see which one of my wives you like, you know, and I'll divorce her, she go through an iddah, and I'll marry you to her, and see which one of my date palm trees or orchards you like, and I give it to you, it's yours. And Abdurrahman ibn Auf said, you know, may Allah bless you and your family and your wealth, but show me the marketplace. And he showed him to the marketplace. And he went to the marketplace, and he went there with like some butter or something. He bartered, traded, and he got his weight up very quick. And one of the secrets behind this is that the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam made dua that Allah bless the wealth of Abdurrahman ibn Auf. But the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam seen him with some saffron on, like what the women used to use as makeup. He said, "What, you got married?" He's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "You know, what you giving for a dowry?" You know, so I mentioned this narration that you can find in Sahih Bukhari because you've seen that he was like the one of the richest Sahaba. You got Sahaba like Uthman ibn Affan. He was extremely rich. The Battle of Tabuk, where they went far to basically towards like Shem to fight Romans. Uthman equipped almost the whole army. Abu Bakr Siddiq, he was wealthy. He gave up all his wealth. And y'all know the story, Umar, he was competing with Abu Bakr. And he said, okay, I'm going to outdo Abu Bakr. They used to have this friendly competition. I'm going to outdo Abu Bakr. I'm getting all my wealth, half of it, giving it to the for the Feast of Abdullahi, for this battle of Tabuk. And after he gave it, he was like, well, how much did Abu Bakr give? He gave all of his wealth. Literally, he gave it all. According to some narrations, you couldn't see Abu Bakr for a while. Like, he went MIA. And they sent someone to his house, like, why you ain't coming around and master pray, what's going on? Ya Rasulullah, I don't have nothing to wear. I gave away my clothes and everything. Like, subhanAllah. He asked him, what did you leave for your family? Allah and his messenger. That's what he said. And Umar, he wasn't poor, but he wasn't rich like the other Sahaba I just mentioned. But even if you look at what his routine was in Medina, he had a business partner, and they used to like breed camels and stuff. And so they would take turns. They say, okay, today I work and I take care of the camels and all that kind of stuff. And I take care of the camels and all that kind of stuff. And then you sit with the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And then, you know, at night you come back and narrate everything you heard. And then tomorrow, the next day, you know, you work, and then I go sit with the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And then I'll come back at night and narrate to you everything I heard. So you see these people, they wasn't like, you know, nah, I ain't gonna go work, man. I'm just gonna sit and get all these hadith. No, they worked, but you know, the dunya wasn't in their heart. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, what I was going to get to too, you know, going with what you were saying, what I was saying as well. Would you say that there is, as other things, levels of it? Because there was, I mean, from my understanding, levels of the Sahaba, just as you just said, you know, different levels of them. Some, you know, some of them had money, you know, some of them had not too much money, but some, even though that had money, just say, for example, somebody was in the masjid, they may have a whole bunch of money, but you would never know they had money because they just regular. I mean, it depends on where your heart, but your heart is the same. They're all levels the same. Your heart is in the same place, but you just.
Yeah, but you can't judge everybody by the same measuring stick. I'll just give you one example. During Umar's time, when he was the Khalifa, he would measure everybody or have an account of everyone's wealth, meaning everybody, meaning all of his amirs and governors under him. And he didn't allow, like, he was like real strict by making sure, even if you had a business, his position was like, if you got a business, because you're the leader, people are going to patronize you and patronize your business and you know, do business with you even more because you are the leader, because you're the governor. And so you're actually, you know, capitalizing off of your position. So what he would literally do was he would, like when he appointed you as a governor, he would have somebody, you know, take a tabulation of all your wealth. And then when you were relieved from your post, he would have them calculate all your wealth again, and anything you had over and above what you started with, he would take it from you, literally. take it from you, and put it in the treasury. This happened to Abu Huraira because he used to breed horses. And Abu Huraira was tight about that. He was the Amir of Bahrain. But I mention that because he had this strict protocol on like what his governors would wear. Like I think it was Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas. I think it was him. At one time, he was the governor of a city in Persia when they were fighting against the Persians. And his house was near the marketplace. And so, you know, their house is not like ours. And so he had a door put up in his, at the threshold of his house, like to prevent some of the noise coming through. Umar heard about that, way in Medina. So he sent Muhammad ibn Maslama way out there to knock down his door because there should be no barrier between you and the people. Like literally. So he was very strict on his governors. I'm just giving this example to get to, just to show you how he was. Muawiyah was his governor in Syria. Muawiyah came to his majlis meeting sharp, dipped, blink flossing. But flossing implies an intention behind it, right? So Umar asked him, and this happened more than once. I said, "Why you dressed like this? You know, I don't really go for that. What's up? Why you dressed like that?" He said, "Oh, Amirul Mu'mineen." He said, "You know where I'm at. You know, the people, the new Muslims, they won't respect my authority if I dress the way you want us to dress. So I dress like this and I eat these nice foods so they can respect my authority and I can carry out my duties." Umar said, "I'm going to let you slide, but you always got to answer for everything." So, to answer your question, yes, there's levels to everything, and everybody's situation is different. Like, during the real good old days, for example, and they even write about this in the books of fiqh. Like they say, the leaders and the scholars, whatever, you know, you should try to be like, you know, the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, Abu Bakr and Umar. We know the story about him with all the patches in his robes. But after the first generation, they excused all of that because people would obey their leaders and respect their leaders and scholars and everything because of taqwa. But now, one generation removed, the people weren't like that anymore. So the scholars allowed the leaders to dress a little bit more nicer, and you know, it wasn't a blameworthy trait. Because your job as a leader is to govern, or a scholar is to teach. And if people won't respect your authority or respect your knowledge based upon, you know, how you manifest what Allah has given you, then they relaxed it a little bit. Now, mind you, wearing nice clothes ain't haram, or having money ain't haram. But, you know, it was always, you know, the Sahaba, they had like a strict regimen. But even those that came after them, it wasn't that strict anymore. I forgot my thing. It wasn't that strict anymore. They relaxed it so that they can carry out their duties properly. So I don't think it's, when we're talking about this characteristic of being a Zahid, I think there's a problem when we look at somebody and says, "Oh, they got new clothes, or they got a lot of clothes, or they got a new car, or they got a lot of cars," whatever. I think that's wrong. The thing that you have to examine is what you cannot even see, that person's heart. So how much a person have or doesn't have is not the issue. It's whether their hearts are attached to it. Because a person can front like he's a Zahid because he don't have anything. He's lazy, or he's broke, or even if he's not lazy, maybe he worked hard and Allah just hasn't given him the money yet. But in his heart, that's what he wanted bad. But in front of us, he's like, you know, mashallah, you know, Allah hasn't given it to me yet, you know, I'm not worrying about it. But as soon as he get the opportunity to get it, he gonna get it, you know, and then he gonna go way to the other way with it. That person's not a Zahid. Even though to us he may look like one because he's saying, mashallah, I don't have no money, I ain't worrying about it. But that's all he's thinking about in his head, for real, right? That person not Zahid either. and he ain't got no money.
Is it wrong to not care about those things?
It is wrong if you have obligations and you not caring about those things are not going to make you take care of your obligations. Like a man who has a family, for example, he's responsible for his family. The Prophet ﷺ said, "Rajulu ra'in fi ahlihi wa mas'ulun an ra'iyatihi." The man is a shepherd, and his family will be questioned about it, right? About them. So if a man has a family, he can't say, "Well, I don't really care about my family, I'm Zahid. I ain't really worry about money like that. How we going to eat? How we going to, what kind of clothes my wife and kids going to wear? That ain't my business, man." That person, he's sinful because he's not even trying to take care of his family.
Not that aspect, but just, your obligations. A nice house, but not. See, people at different levels. One person may say some furniture. Okay, furniture. We know how much good furniture costs nowadays. Say $1,000. $1,000 set of furniture,
right,
compared to a $3,000 set of furniture. Right. I'm just saying, is it wrong for not wanting, some ghetto fabulous crib, or just some regular,
Again, you can't measure that because the person may want his house comfortable, right? And comfortable for one person may be that $1,000 set. Comfortable for that other person may be that ghetto fabulous stuff. Yeah. Again, the measuring stick is wrong. You measuring the physical things. What you have to measure, or what that person has to measure in themselves, is their heart attached to it.
Okay, all right.
What you actually have is not the issue. Is that couch in your heart? Like, I told you not to eat on my couch, right? Your child was drinking some water. The water's finished. The ice cube from the water hit the couch, right? Right? You're like, "Oh, you got a drop of water on my couch. I'm going to tear you up. Get in your room," right? And you beat the child to death. The child is still in diapers, right? You beat the child to death because a drop melted off the ice cube onto your couch, and the couch got the plastic on it, right? From like back in the day, back in the 70s, you still got the plastic on it. And you man, that plastic been here since my grandmama had it, right? You going crazy, right? Come on, knock it off. Like, seriously, come on, it's ice, right? The issue is the heart. It's not what you have. Because as we mentioned with the Sahaba, you had the poorest of the poor and the richest of the rich, all with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he didn't say, "Oh, you got too much money, you got the dunya in your heart," or "You ain't got enough money, so you're more righteous," right? So it's with the heart. It's not what you have, and that's the key point. But before we close out, I need to mention this hadith because it's going to clarify some things. And Abi Abbas Sahl ibn Sa'd Sa'di قال جاء رجل إلى النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم فقال يا رسول الله دلني على عمل إذا عملته أحبني الله وأحبني الناس فقال اسهد في الدنيا يحبك الله واسهد فيما عند الناس يحبك الناس. حديث حسن رواه ابن ماجه وغيره بإسناد وأسانيد حسنة. This hadith you can find in Imam Nawawi's Arba'in. It's 40 hadith. It's hadith number 31. And it's been narrated on the authority of Sahl ibn Sa'ad, may Allah be pleased with him, who said, a man came to the Prophet ﷺ and said, "O Messenger of Allah, show me an action that if I do it will cause Allah to love me and people to love me." Excuse me. The Prophet ﷺ said, "Uzhud," which means, that's the word we've been using, Zuhud, Zahid, Zuhad, all this is the same word. It's just the command form. Do without, be indifferent. The translation that I'm reading right now, it says renounce, and I'm not using that translation. do away with the book, because I think it will. I think if I use the word renounce, it will only underline the misunderstanding that a lot of us have about this hadith anyway. Renounce something, you mean like, I ain't gonna be involved with it, but you have to be involved with it in order to survive, right? But in any case, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, be indifferent to the dunya and Allah will love you. And be indifferent to what people have and people will love you. It's a beautiful hadith. In other words, if you disconnect your heart from this dunya, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will love you. And this is extremely, I lost count how many extremities I said. It's extremely important, right? In his nephew, meaning Abdullahi dan Fodiyo, in his nephew's book, Risalatul Amrad Shafia, Letter of Healing for Spiritual and Social Diseases, he basically wrote a book on how to build and keep a community together. The whole introduction is about this subject right here, doing without the dunya, right? When I say doing without, not having your heart attached to the dunya. In other words, you have to get to the level where you don't have a price. Because if you have a price, someone can buy you. Someone can threaten you with something. But if your heart is disconnected from it, well, do what you want. And this is extremely important. Because a lot of times, what breaks up communities, I don't care what type of community it is, big gigantic community or a community that started with less than a handful of people. Usually the same few things break up the community. They finally get some money. A lot of people are joining the community, especially women, and so everybody want to marry the same few women, and so brothers start fighting over the women or the leadership. It's usually one of these three things that people start fighting over, even if they don't openly say it like that. You know, that's usually what it's about. Like there's one popular speaker now, I'm not going to call his name out, but a lot of people hate him because a lot of their women love him. I mean, literally, at one time I was living in the same city with his brother. And whenever he would teach a class at the masjid, the sisters would put on all the extra makeup. These is married sisters, right? Put on extra makeup, make sure the overgarment just a little bit more snug, right? You would think they was going to a special function. They coming out, and the husband's sitting at home mad. Man, this dude's a deviant anyway, man. Why? Don't go to his class. He's a deviant. I'm going anyway, right? Right? If you question each and every one of those brothers, and I just stumbled across it, like a lot of y'all probably don't know. Hassan Ali may know. Well, a lot of y'all don't have a clue who I'm talking about, right? And I'm nowhere connected with this person at all, right? But regardless of what social media platform I'm on, I seen people was making memes out of this dude. Like, oh, people still listening to such and such. Oh, he's a deviant. Like it's a joke. And all of it is coming from a place of envy and jealousy, right? Women love this brother. And it was that be upset about it, be their husbands and all these type of people. Why did I mention it?
I don't know.
SubhanAllah. I mentioned that for a reason.
I know it's extremely important. Extremely.
I was talking about how Muhammad Bello, the nephew of this author, he wrote a book, and the whole introduction of the book is this right here, this subject that we're speaking about right here, being indifferent to the world. Because if your heart is attached to these things, either shaitan or shaitan's army from amongst humans and jinns can get at you by means of these things. We have a community together, everybody's getting along fine, but, you know, the brother over there, you know, he secretly wants to be the leader, right? And so his main enemy is going to be the leader. And so he's going to be doing little stuff to attack the leader, and it's going to create division. Or we have a community. and this brother got a lot of money. This brother right here is broke, right? So like, and he teaches class. So every time he teach class, you know, he always counting somebody's pockets. You know, brothers be having money, other brothers don't be having money, and they trying to act like they all righteous, coming all up in the masjid with, you know, new clothes and stuff like that. They ain't doing. Y'all think it's funny? I know a brother that's doing this in Pittsburgh right now. Literally, he's doing it right now. He be in the masjid, tucked in the corner, counting everybody's pockets and criticizing everybody because he can't get none of what they got. He done try to get at a brother's wife on a sneak tip. He can't get married. You know, he all can't get no money. He all condemning everybody because they won't get him no money. He even tried to get like real organized with it and create movements to get money, right? I mean, it's serious type of stuff, right? His heart is attached to the dunya. He loves you or hates you based upon what he can get from you. And all he does is go around and cause division. And I mentioned that the nephew, Muhammad Bello, another famous person in our Jamaa'ah, he wrote a whole introduction about this subject right here. And again, the point that I wanted to drive home the most is not what you have or what you don't have or how hard you work to get it. Now, the point you make is very good. Like you use the example of furniture. You can't say, well, that person makes do on this type of furniture. Why don't that person make do on that type of furniture? Because we don't compete with each other in dunya. Meaning, we don't compete to see who can make more money, or we don't compete to see who could do with less money. We compete with each other in righteousness, right? We don't compete with each other with regards to possessions.
Well, can I say one more thing?
All right.
Are you sure?
Go ahead.
All right.
Can't say no.
My thing was, and I don't want to make no big drawn out too much long with this conversation, but I think, for example, one example is, just say, for example, stars or famous people.
Uh-huh.
You know, I may think about, you may think about, like, wow, they got all this money, they could be, you know, doing that with something else. Same thing with mid-level people or just regular people. Like that, I can get a $3,000 furniture. I can get maybe in my means, but I'm thinking somewhere else, like, you know, I can get the $1,000 almost just as good, and I can take the two to something else that somebody else may need something.
Right.
I mean, it depends on where your heart is at. Like, for example, I make, huh?
You talk about modesty. Modesty
Well, that's what.
as far as you're spending your.
I understand that perfectly. My thing is, I got $3,000. I go to this certain masjid, or I know, I know how the world is. Period. I know what's going on. To me, I'm conscious of what's going on. You know, I can get the $3,000 furniture, and I can do, behind closed doors or out in the open. Take the other two to do something else, or I could just get the $3,000. That's still okay. I can afford it.
Yeah, what's the point?
Well, I'm just saying you could do something else with the money.
But who's saying the person's not doing something else with the money?
That was just my thing. I just wanted to share. That's all.
Yeah, but see, 'cause
Are
there's a lot of assumptions in your scenario.
Huh?
There's a lot of assumptions in your
there's a lot of-
scenario.
that-
You're assuming the
I wanna make
person's
a
not.
big conversation about it.
You're
but
assuming that the
I'm
person's
just
not
sharing,
doing it.
I had, some thoughts that I be thinking.
I'll give you one example, like an even smaller example than that. My children may see some money in my wallet. They say, "Man, Abby, can I get it?" They don't know I have to put that money in the bank to pay for the bills. When they don't know they don't understand all that is. You got money, why can I have it?
That's why you get them used to saying hearing no.
Yeah, or they really used to say no, right? It's the same way with a lot of us. We may see someone who look, man, he got a car, he got a nice job, he got a business, he ain't got that many kids. We counting that person's pockets. We may not know that this person, in our mind, we got this person's whole life figured out. He ain't got no children. He got the dish. He got the dish. He all in his pockets. We in his socks and everything, right? We in his bank account and everything. But we don't know. Maybe this person has $1 million debt that he owed the IRS, or they're gonna lock us behind up and he on a payment plan, right? It could be a whole bunch of secrets that we don't know that the person they telling us, but we like trying to count their pockets. You know, we don't know.
So I'm trying to say, are you saying, so if the person got the $1,000 furniture, it'd be better because he can be doing, he didn't need the $3,000 furniture, he can be doing other things with that money. You said that's more righteous?
Well, no, I'm not judging him. Period. I'm just putting it like, or just say me, myself, or I'm trying to see where I'm trying to go with this. Maybe it's just all about first of all, it's between them and the law. I'm pretty sure you can get, just the guy gets the $3,000 furniture, he still have more money to do other stuff. But if he gets $1,000 and put $2,000 more to, toward a law, or maybe that's even more blessing. I mean, I'm just saying it's all, what you want to do between you and the law, and
Yeah, but you won't know his situation. You
No,
just assuming. You have to put that on yourself.
I'm not talking about really nobody else. I'm talking about me, myself, or I'm
Right.
just talking about
Right.
what I would want to do.
But again, my only problem with your line of questioning is you still focus on the physical possessions, what they're doing with it. The Zahid is one, it doesn't matter what they have, how much they have, the quality of what they have. If their heart is not attached to it, that's what a Zahid is. They're indifferent to it. It don't bother them, they have it or not. And of course the Zahid is he's gonna do what you're talking about. He's gonna take care of his obligations. He's gonna give in charity. He's gonna do what he's supposed to do. A Zahid is not somebody that's gonna be, take care of his not take care of his obligations and not give charity. That person, he's not giving charity because he's cheap. His heart is attached to it.
Yeah,
You understand?
I understand the definition you was given, for that. I'm fully understanding about that. I'm just going. I guess I was going somewhere else. A whole different conversation here about just being close to a law. What you would do with the wealth that a law give you. Right.
But no, I'm glad we got into this because a lot of people think being poor is being pious, and that's not the case.
Yeah, I definitely.
Yeah. A lot of people think that. A lot of people think, I'm poor, and because I'm poor, regardless of why I'm poor, I'm more righteous than you that has money. And the possessions you have nothing to do with your religiosity. It's what you do with that money, and if your heart is attached to that money or not.
Just a different type of test.
Yeah. Alhamdulillah. So, yep, that's all that we have today. Alhamdulillah. Any other questions? Anybody have any questions from the internet world? Somebody said something, I ain't know how to take it. I ain't gonna read it. Alhamdulillah. So we'll close out, inshallah. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Wal 'asr. Innal insana lafi khusr. Illa alladhina amanu wa 'amilu salihati wa tawassaw bil haqqi wa tawassaw bis sabr. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.